MrMaple Show podcast. It's the September Collector's Corner special.
Hey everybody, welcome to the MrMaple podcast. Love hanging out with you guys. We always appreciate you guys tuning in. We're always trying to come up with some cool topics to talk about plants. I got Sean in here with me today. We're going to be chopping it up. We're going to be doing a little bit of a collector's corner, kind of a little series of podcasts we've been doing where we just kind of highlight some different topics and talk about some cultivars that kind of fits that.
Absolutely. And hey guys, welcome to the MrMaple Show. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
And check out the whole channel. We put out a video 7 days a week. There's always something, whether it's a cultivar highlight, whether it's a walkthrough. So be sure to check that out on YouTube at MrMaple Show.
Yeah, we do a video form of this podcast as well on the MrMaple Show. So lots of good stuff over there for you guys to check out. Man, some of our garden walkthroughs that we do over there too is awesome, man. Some of those Buckholz walkthroughs, things like that. So definitely worth checking out. And as always, go and subscribe to our podcast show. We do a lot of these podcasts. Trying to book some guests here lately. You know, we've been trying to get some guests back into the studio.
It's been a minute.
It's been a little bit. And so we're always trying to come up with some cool ideas. But today we're doing the Collector's Corner for September here. We're getting close to fall. I mean, it's sneaking up on us.
Well, that's what I thought, when putting together these categories, my thought was, okay, this is the September. And for some of us that are in certain climates, we're starting to see the beginning of fall. It's starting to kind of feel like fall out there. We're starting to get some of those cooler nights. And then for some people, depending on where you're at, man, you're still in summer. You're looking at the end of the summer. So there's a lot to be looking at. And kind of where we're at in zone 6B, right now, we're kind of getting the best of both worlds. We're kind of getting, I've got stuff in the garden, and that's when, picking my picks, I'm trying to think of, some of these categories, but like some stuff in my garden are still acting like it's summer.
Right.
And then I've got a few things that are starting to, hey, fall is around the corner. So it's that fun point in the year, depending on what's going on, that there's so much going on in the garden.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about that. I mean, right now I have trees, like you said, doing a little bit of both. Some of them are kind of even showing a little early fall color to them, just from the stressful heat from the summer. But
especially all the stuff in containers. Don't be surprised if you have something in a container to see it to start to go to fall a little early as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of them that I was sitting there thinking about, was one called Acer Palmatum Windover, starting to already kind of transition to some yellow fall color. Looks awesome. But today we're going to just kind of go through some things that are looking cool right now in our gardens. And I love that topic because it's a very relatable situation for me, rather than just talking about plants, in general, which I love doing that too. But these are things that are in our gardens. So it's fun to talk about what's going on.
So our first category, let's go ahead and jump right in. Our first category is, so this is September, still performing in September. What's still doing it for you? What do you got?
Okay, so this one, I had to take a second to think about this because there's like so many. It's hard for me to narrow them down. I was like, gave Sean this giant list, and he's like, all right, we got to narrow this down.
I was like, okay.
So it's always hard to pick one, but I've got Acer Palmatum Kokyo. Now this is one that's not super common, not in production that much, and one that had been on my list for a long, long time. And I finally got it this last year. And man, I'm telling you, like, it has been one of the trees that I go look at the most. And especially even this time of the year, I'm still going out there and checking it out. So it's like on my radar. Beautiful, nice, like big, large kind of Anomenum style leaf, similar to like Osakazuki in that feel. Really, really nice kind of red blushing that it gets this time of the year, like late in the summer, when normally you see that kind of early spring and things like that. So this time of the year, it's got a nice little red blush over top of that green leaf. And so it just looks so exciting out there in the garden.
So I had to go with still performing. I had to go with my summer gold.
Man, I mean, that's a tried and true, dude.
Man, I've got it in full sun.
Yeah.
And really wanted to test it out and have it out in full sun. And man, here in September, and I choose this for the still performing because it's still pushing summer flush.
Yeah.
And letting it be in full sun, it's holding those lighter colors. So it's not that highlighter yellow like you get in the spring with it. So, but it's a little limed out, but it's still much lighter than everything else.
Right.
And then the red that it's pushing off, it almost looks like it's, and I have it across the yard. So while sitting on the front porch looking at it, it looks like there's flower blooms on it from the red. And we're into September now and it's still performing.
Yeah. Sometimes that summer new growth, man, can be almost as exciting as your spring, because it's just vibrant colors. And then your older growth is kind of muted tones you get in the summer. So it makes that new growth pop out even more because it's kind of just over a dull color. But, it's an exciting time of the year. I love seeing the summer new growth, especially for me because I'm from Oklahoma. And so by the time you hit summer, man, trees were shut down.
They're done.
Like they're done.
I'm tired.
Yeah, they're tired. They're done. They're not pushing any new growth. They're going to wait till spring. So it's kind of cool to experience that new growth here. All right. So next category, guys, we're going to move into is most anticipated for fall.
Yeah, we're at that point. Like we say, we're at that teetering point. And I know, especially, you talked about Oklahoma. Well, I come from Memphis, and man, that's hot. And I know our brothers and sisters out that way. You're like, y'all are talking about fall.
Yeah.
It's still hot here. I mean, I remember going out trick-or-treating and sweating. You know what I'm saying, in Memphis.
Exactly.
So I get it, but here we're looking at, like, what are you anticipating? Fall is on its way. Man, I had to go with Indian summer. When that Buckholz truck came in and they came, those 7 gallons that came off that truck.
Right.
As they were coming off that truck, I was already, that one right there, that one is mine. That one's going home. And I mean, Acer japonicum.
Indian summer.
Indian summer. We're talking about those fall colors, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, that's why I got that tree, for those big leaves, for that, it has that presence, but man, I'm excited. This will be my first fall to see what it does and have it. And I know sometimes it could take time to get situated and all that stuff, but I'm already looking forward to seeing what that Indian summer does.
Oh yeah, especially in like a 7-gallon size, you're really going to have a dynamic kind of display of colors, you know what I'm saying? So that's always nice. I always think about with that cultivar, the first time I saw Indian summer in a big set. We had a big set of them in a greenhouse. They were like XL 1 gallons, like real nice, big, tall 1 gallons. And the whole set went into perfect fall color all together. It was amazing, man. Yellows and oranges and reds and purples just all mixed throughout the same plants. It was just wild. I was like grabbing my camera. I was like, I got to get this. So amazing. Yeah, definitely high on my list for sure. One for me that I'm always looking forward to is Abby's Weeping, an Acer japonicum lace leaf.
I was about to say it. The Acer japonicum. Anticipation for fall. Acer japonicum.
Exactly, man. All of the japonicum cultivars are just so known for that, and they are so consistent. So you kind of anticipate that. You're like, man, I know this thing's always going to put on a show. Abby's Weeping, that lace leaf japonicum, is just such a great texture. And what I like about Abby's is it goes into these kind of crazy dark purples and stuff, man. Like you can get some yellows and reds and early, but it goes to these really crazy dark purples. And with that big lace leaf japonica, it's a wild texture. And then when that color starts in the fall, it really, really stands out. One I'm always anticipating for sure.
You say that because I always have this thought like, man, I wish I had the space, because I would take an Abby's Weeping and pair that up with a Fairy Lights.
Yeah.
And have those two going off during fall would be insane.
Pretty sweet, right? That's a great pairing right there. All right, what topic we got next, Sean?
So we're moving into favorite late season reticulated.
Okay. Yeah, that's one I had to take a second to think about too, because the reticulated types are always such an attention grabber in the spring. You see that spring interest, all those reticulated veining, but there are a few who late in the season are still looking good. For me right now, it's frosted purple. I've got a really nice 1 gallon frosted purple in the front yard in a shaded location. And so it's kind of weird. It really wants to be that dark red purple, but it's in the shade. So it's like this weird mix between the green with this little frosted purple layer on top. It's perfect. The way it looks right now is the perfect description of that name, that frosted purple. You have that green base leaf underneath, and then you have that frosted purple over top with that veining. It looks wicked right now. One that I think, for a late season reticulated, high on my list.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that's a great choice, because I've always noticed that like late in the season, sometimes that reticulation just doesn't, the veining, it's not as bold.
Right.
But your choice right there, man, that is one that I've noticed that even when you go through those changes, when the chlorophyll changes in those leaves, that reticulation still kind of just stands out all season long.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had to go with Purple Ghost in my garden. And this year, what I did is where I have it located under a big red sugar maple that's just, a species in my yard.
Native species there,
But I have it and where I have it situated, it's not morning sun, afternoon shade. It's full sun all day, but it's constantly that filtered light through the tree.
Right.
And so that's given me the benefit that, man, that Purple Ghost, there's some with that chlorophyll change with the leaves a little bit lower, but for the most part, the entire tree has maintained that purple with that reticulation all through summer, and still here we are into September, and it still almost kind of has that spring purple look with that reticulation. And I think maybe that's the key is that it's all day filtered light. It's getting light all day, but it's filtered, so it's not getting beat up from the heat, but it's getting it all day, man. This year, and that's the first year my Purple Ghost has done it, I've always had it where it goes to that more green color, kind of washed out look towards the end of the season. This year, under those conditions, man, it's just killing it in the landscape.
Yeah, and I think you hit it there. I think with the reticulated types, a lot of times it's all about placement, and sun versus shade kind of ratio that you can give it. Sometimes you have to play around with it a little bit to get it in the perfect spot to where it really performs all throughout the seasons, and you want something that looks great even this time of the year. So, and that's kind of what we're talking about here is things in our garden that catches our attention right now. It's easy to spring interest. We all know that, we could probably list 100 of them here.
You can list any tree, spring interest. They all look,
Right. But September interest, now you're narrowing it down. There's a few of those cultivars that really stand out. And I mean, Purple Ghost, Talon Buckhold's kind of flagship tree for the Ghost series, everybody loves that tree. Probably one of our most requested here at the farm for sure. Great choice on that. Let's see. Our next category here is favorite tree currently in transition. So we're kind of transitioning in seasons right now. What did you have on your list?
So I had to go with Ghost Dancer, and this is at the house, the Ghost Dancer, but I can't take credit that it's mine. Noah, he works here part-time, my son, and he's starting to buy trees.
He's starting to buy
his own trees, but he bought a Ghost Dancer, and when I say currently in transition, like we're not like just hard going into those fall stuff yet, but man, Ghost Dancer with that reticulation and kind of on that yellow side is starting to go into that where some of that, you can see the timing. We're starting to get some of those cooler nights.
Yeah.
And some of those reds and oranges are starting to appear in those leaves, man. And it just looks, with the reticulation, it just looks dynamic.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about that, with the reticulation, because you see the transitions of color, but you still see that veining underneath. So it's wild to watch how drastic it changes throughout the seasons. But yeah, Ghost Dancer, I actually remember me and Noah were working together one day out on the farm, and he's like, man, I'm thinking about getting me another tree. And I was like, all right, I'll keep an eye out for something cool, and we're working together, and I pull up this big ghost dancer. I'm like, no, what do you think about this thing? He's like, oh man,
And that was a good one. Brian, you chose a good one because it's a good one. Well, I like how you say that because, with reticulation this time of year, sometimes from the heat, from the summer stress,
right,
the veining of that reticulation isn't as intense. But sometimes when you start to go back into those fall colors, you almost start to see that veining reappear because it's going into those fall colors.
Yeah, you have some lighter kind of colors on top, so the veining stands out even more. Really cool, man. I love it. For me, I had to go with Sunny. Now in my garden is performing really good, and it's starting to, on those very top leaves, starting to change and have a little bit of like this pink red blush starting from the top down, just a slight transition on it. And it's one of the brightest yellows in my garden right now too. So that bright yellow that makes it stand out, and now you see that red blush starting on top. It just looks so cool out in my garden. I'm always getting excited because I'm like, man, fall's in the air. You get that cool morning nip, little hot cup of coffee standing there watching over my garden. I love this time of the year, especially here in the mountains, man. We're kind of lucky.
We are
fortunate.
We are
beautiful mountain, cool air. So it's an exciting time of the year for me.
It's funny you say that because, coming from Memphis, we didn't have that luxury, but my parents have been here in Western North Carolina for about 30 years now.
Right.
So we would regularly come here to visit, especially, Noah, even though we were in Memphis, Noah pulled himself up and walked the first time here in Western North Carolina. So that's how long, we've been coming to visit my parents. And man, I'll tell you, just the you talk about that luxury, but we would come and visit and just go into my dad's garden, and we'd be like, man, we are so we were jealous because it's like, how do your plants look like that? So we know we are spoiled here. Don't take that out on us. We are a little spoiled.
All right, guys. So our next topic here, and I love this one. We got a favorite late season weeper.
Yeah.
Weeping Japanese maple. What'd you have to go with, Sean?
So I went with Orangiola. Man, this tree, to me, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about with Japanese maples in terms of color and texture. And, a lot of people, we get into that flashy stuff, variegation, reticulation.
Yeah.
But with Orangiola, man, to me, it's just got this like classic elegance to it.
Yeah.
And right now I say it's my favorite late season is because this year it put off a lot of it's new growth. It pushed off a lot from underneath.
Nice. So filling out.
Because it's got the curves and all that stuff, and it's pushing out. So it pushed out this new growth and really filled in. And it was this weird summer leaves that don't look like Orangiola.
Kind of over-exaggerated.
All that stuff. But then it had its normal, flush like that. But then on top of it, it's got that summer flush as well, and it's still showing that. So it's got so much in terms of color going on with that red on top with that darker green, and then this weird foliage going on underneath.
Yeah.
That, next year it's going to be fun. I know I see posts where people are like,
yeah, my Orangiola looks weird.
What's up with these leaves? It's completely normal. That's that weird summer flush going on.
Yeah.
But just the color and texture. But Orangiola overall, man, I've noticed that whether you're talking about that spring flush, whether you talk about how it looks during the summer, and even this time and going into fall, man, to me, it just carries this elegance all throughout the season.
Yeah, Orangiola, man. I mean, such a great cultivar. I mean, I remember we just had an open house not too long ago, and we had some beautiful 10 gallons of those Orangiolas, and anybody that was looking for an Orangiola was like, come check these. Because they just had such a perfect form.
Yes.
And this time of the year, like you were saying, there's new growth popping off of that. So you got these bright red colors on top with those darker greens and kind of almost like these weird blue tones too, like these green blue tones underneath, and then you have that red new growth over top. So yeah, Orangiola is killer, man. I absolutely love that cultivar. One of the most extreme weeping lace leaves too. It wants to go straight down. Great weeping variety. I had to go with Acer Palmatum Baldsmith.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I walk out on my deck and it's the first tree that I see because And I'll tell you a weird story about this. So I purchased a 10-gallon of a Bald Smith, and then we had some really bad freezes like that next year before spring, and I lost the top of it. So it died back, and I cut it back, and I was like, I'm just going to see what happens. So I cut that top back and let it kind of reflush and build. And it has this crazy kind of wide texture because it's a little bit flat now that it lost its top. But all these new branches are reaching upward. So there's these big, tall, like pink towers coming off of it. Looks really wild right now. It's always got me excited. I think it's one of the best, like, bright pink lace leaves out there. So if you're needing like something that's more in that pink realm than like a red,
right,
go with a Bald Smith. It's always performing, and that late season growth is really, really cool.
Man, with Bald Smith, I bought my dad a Bald Smith several years ago, and he picked it out. He wanted like that cultivar. Hey, while you're at work, find me a good one. I want one of these. And man, I'll tell you, with a Bald Smith, man, I think sometimes when they're in the smaller 1-gallon sizes that people get, or we show them, people aren't as enamored with it as some other cultivars. Right. But I tell you what, let a Bald Smith, put it in the ground, let it grow for 3 years, and after that, about that 3-year mark, you talk about those pinks, just like Orangiola, where you get those multicolors, man. Bald Smith, man, once you let it get a little bit of size on it, man, it looks like a 3-dimensional, like the colors with that pink. You get that pink on top, then you get that lighter color underneath, and it's a totally different green than any of the other lace leaves as well.
And it's like a really super finely dissected leaf too. So you're right; it almost has this like 3D effect to it. The way the light plays through it and the colors and everything. It's a great cultivar. Definitely had to be on the list today. So next on our list here we have late season upright. That's kind of performing well. We just talked about a weeper. Let's talk about an upright. What do you have, Sean?
So I have to go. This is another one that Noah bought.
Yeah.
But I've just been really, really impressed with it. But that's Hot Tamale.
Hot Tamale.
Talking about getting to the heat seekers.
Man.
Acer Oliveri. I can never say it right. I try to say it, and I get to halfway through Oliverianum. I say it weird. Everyone says it weird. I've asked people, how do you say it? Everyone says it weird.
Yeah, I love that cultivar, though. I mean, the Heat Seeker series, Acer Oliverianum.
There you go.
Sometimes you just have to roll with it and hope it lands right. But yeah, love Hot Tamale. One that I kind of had this on my list too, and I was like trying to go back and forth between which one I was going to talk about. But Hot Tamale.
You had it. That was one of yours. Yeah. Hey, so we were on this. Hey, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, man. I mean, that thing, mine is growing like a weed. I planted a young one as a 1-gallon, and it's like 3 years in the ground now. And dude, it is taking off. We talk about that, the 1 year in the ground, 2 year that sleeps, 3 year, so, I mean, right now it's really starting to pick up its growth, and it's probably one of the tallest trees in my garden, but it was one of the smallest when I planted it. So that tells you a lot of how vigorous of a grower it is. And especially this time of the year, it looks great.
I'll tell you what really impressed me about it is, again, like I said, this is one that Noah purchased and brought home. And I think you may have helped him pick that one out.
I probably did. I'm guilty of
guilty.
I'm sending a lot of trees home with people. I'm guilty of that.
But, he's 17 years old, and I want to, impress this is your tree. I want you to nurture it. I want you to take care of it. You're not just going to bring it home and mom and dad are going to take care of it for you. And, life is always a lesson. But, man, he's taken that and just set it in full sun in the yard, still in the nursery pot.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's like unfazed, right?
Odd freaking phase, dude. like not a lick of burn. Summer flush. I mean, it's probably in the nursery pot since sitting in my front yard has probably put on a half a foot of growth in the short time it's been sitting out there in the full sun, still in the nursery pot. And I'm just like, man, this is insane tree.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, I had to skip the Hot Tamale. I didn't even know Sean was going to go with that, but I went with Emmett's Pumpkin.
Ooh.
Another Japonicum, but what I love about Emmett's Pumpkin, I feel like it's probably one of the most vigorous of the japonicums out there, the upright japonicums. It gets out there so quickly, and that new growth flush is bright orange, man. Like, it really does speak to that Emmett's pumpkin. And we, what's cool is you get kind of a little bit of that orange blush in the spring. Then your new growth is kind of that orange as well, and then your fall comes in and with the big finale. So, I mean, I just think that if you're needing an upright that's like a really nice, strong performer, Emmett's Pumpkin, man, you can't go wrong with that.
This being a collector's corner, I think about, you and Matt just did a podcast on like what makes maples collectible.
Right.
And why they're collectible. And as collectors, man, like one of the things you brought up is how much you appreciate how, before you were an employee of MrMaple, that you, as a collector, how you appreciate how Matt and Tim would tell the stories.
Right.
And man, Emmett's Pumpkin, I think is, like there's so many stories about how did this get this name, how did this.
Right.
But man, Emmett's Pumpkin, I think, is one of my favorite backstories.
Such a cool story.
On that the woman that named it, who introduced it and named it, had a trademark on it and would charge, but it was just that she saved all that money up to send her grandson to college.
Yeah.
And I think, man, that's just a great, that's an awesome story about a tree that it's named after her grandson, and that tree was able to send him off to have a better future in life. Like, to me, like that's just like a good,
Right. Yeah, and it's such an unsuspecting kind of thing too, because he probably grew up not really realizing the impact that this tree was having in the horticulture world, being named after him. Now that he's probably older, he's probably like, wow, I have a tree named after me.
Right? That's pretty cool. There's no Acer Sean out there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, so we're moving along here, guys. So right now we're looking at our next topic as favorite late season non-maple. Something out there that's not a maple that's still looking really, really nice.
So, those that contact our office know that my wife's in there, and that's Daryl.
Yep.
And she picked this one up for me, or picked it up for us. But so I can't take credit. She picked this one, but is Blue Planet.
So talk about a killer little dwarf conifer, right? It's a beautiful white spruce, tiny foliage, man. The needles on it are so short. It has such a unique texture. I actually picked one of these up too, and as soon as I saw it, and I loved the name, the Blue Planet, and it had this perfectly little round blue ball. And I thought this would be perfect for a bonsai project. So I picked up one. So I've got one in a little bonsai pot. And I've always been checking you guys out when I come to your house and hang out. Such a cool, that thing stays small too. We're talking about like a foot in like 10 years, like a foot in width and height in 10 years. The thing stays very, very small. And I love the dwarf conifers because I'm trying to squeeze more cool things into my garden.
Well, I just love how it brings, hence the name blue.
Yeah.
That it brings that blue, and it being a small dwarf like that, we use it as a container plant, and man, we can move that in around some of those maples in that bed with that, dude. But the blue is still, like, we're talking about September, that blue still looks like that blue. It is a conifer, but man, it is so intense. That little ball sitting there. As a non-maple, the thing is just killer.
It is, man. It is. All right. So for me, I had to go with one that I got in my garden that's just going off right now. I got Snow Sprite.
Oh, yeah.
A deodar cedar. Absolutely love this cultivar. It has some of the brightest white, kind of creamy variegation to those needles. It looks really, really intense right now. And it just makes everything else around it stand out so much. And the texture of a cedar like that, just those really nice, fine pointed needles, it just looks so good. The combination between the texture and the color, and this kind of a pendulous habit that it has as well. It's a real dynamic presence in my garden. One of my wife's favorite trees as well. She's the one that picked this out many years ago here at MrMaple. I think we've had it in the ground now for about 3 years. So it's starting to really fill out and start to get some nice structure to it. But always, every time, as far as my conifer collection, it's in my top list for sure.
Well, you know, to me, that's one of those. You ever see one of those? I refer to it as one of those whoa plants.
Yeah.
Where when the first time you see it, your reaction is whoa.
Whoa. Yeah.
and that's what I refer to as snow sprite, as one of those like whoa plants. And, you know, to take it up a notch, to turn it up, going out to Buckles Farm and seeing the one he has out there was even more intensive. Like, whoa, it really brought in an appreciation for what that tree can do in the landscape, because it's one of those, like, everybody wants that, where when your neighbors go by or someone goes by,
right,
their head turns and, whoa, what was that? What did I see there?
Definitely brings that. All right, guys, so we're going to keep this thing rolling here. This season's ultimate champion, that's what we're going to talk about next. Like, you got hundreds and hundreds of maples out there. What's the champion, right? What's the number one best performing tree in your garden right now? You guys put in the comments what your best performing trees is. We'd appreciate you guys' feedback and let us know what's going on in your gardens as well. That's a big name to put on this list. So, Sean, what'd you put on your list?
Okay, so I have to say it's this season's, because you know, as gardeners, like, you could never, like, well, it is, because like as gardeners, like, hey man, I had something this year that all year was banging. And Daryl and I, all season, you and Francis would come over and, hey man, did you check out? And it was Rhode Island Red. Hey man, did you check out that Rhode Island? Like, dude, it's banging. But man, towards the end of the summer, it took a hit. It took a hit. So I can't put it as this season's ultimate champion. It looked great most of the season, but it took a late summer hit. Yep. So it can't be crowned.
Gotcha.
So I have to go with Dragon Master. I mean, man, that thing, I have it near that purple ghost I was telling you before. So it gets that all day dappled sun. Dude, man, it's still got that yellow tint to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's showing, like, it's just for like that Ryusen style, man, it's still showing vigor. It's still putting off growth. And like, it's that one tree ultimate champion. Like, man, it showed no stress at all. I mean, it just performed the way it's supposed to. No stressing about it, right? No having to do anything. Like, it just performed the way you'd expect and want a tree to perform.
I mean, Dragon Master, such a killer plant. I love a lot of those newer kind of weeping varieties. They really bring a lot of like spring interest to the weeping cultivars out there. You know, we've got quite a few of them: Yellow Cascade, Golden Falls, Dragon Master, some really good ones out there. Dragon Master, MrMaple introduction.
That's right.
One of their pendulous treasures. I have one in my garden, and I have it paired up with a couple of their other pendulous treasures. So I have a Looking Glass Falls nearby it, and I've got the other Rikuzen Shidari is another one that I have near it. So I've got a lot of other weeping styles of Japanese maples around it, and it just really pops, man. That bright yellow color. Right now, mine's flushing with a lot of new growth on there as well. So you've got like a nice contrast, these oranges over that older yellow growth. Looks really nice, kind of cascading down this little rolling hill side of my garden. Looks really good this time of the year. For me, in my garden, I got to go with the king, the red panda.
Woo-wee.
Now, you know, I tell you, I'm guilty for creating a lot of hype on this plant.
right there. You need to point a finger right there.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty for that. But you know what it was, man, was I experienced this tree early on when Matt and Tim still had it, you know, kind of early on in production. And I was just so blown away by it. And just the mystique of having a red Macawa was just so alluring to me that it just got me so excited. And every time I would see it in the garden, it was just performing over at Matt's, you know. I'm like, dude, this thing looks so awesome. And Matt was like, you know what? You need to have one of these and get one in the ground over at your garden. I'm like, hey, you know, I'll take one for the team.
Take one for the
It's a you know, a heavy burden to bear, but I'll go ahead and, you know, take one of these home and plant it in my garden. But no, it is performing so well right now. Lots of red new growth all over it. I'd say this year, has some of the most growth I've ever seen on a Makawa type, probably a foot of growth. And this is like all the way around the whole tree. So there's all these different branches that are just pushing tons of new growth, bright red colors popping off of it. So for me right now, Red Panda, the ultimate champion in the rural gardens for sure.
Well, I often use your Red Dragon, I can't even talk, Red Panda as the example. Because, over the years, you've been associated with Matt and Tim over the years as a collector, but you also became friends with them, and they've given you the opportunity over the years to help be part of that evaluation process on a number of plants. And, when the hype really built up on Red Panda, I myself, there was a little bit of skeptic in me I've seen Red Panda, but I've only seen Red Panda in containers in a greenhouse.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but the first time coming to your place, since you were able to be part of that evaluation process and get it early into your landscape, and to come see you have it in full sun and see how it performs. After that, it was like, okay, I'm a believer.
Right.
Like I've heard Matt and Tim talk about it, and I saw the hype, how it built around it. But in all honesty, your Red Panda in your garden was what made me the ultimate believer of holy cow,
this thing
is for real.
Yes, super legit. I think right now, obviously in the future, we hope that we keep making things better. But right now, I think Red Panda, one of the best red Makawas out there.
Oh, it's a good one.
And so it's always exciting this time of the year, especially. So definitely get you a Red Panda. All right, moving on down the list here. We're going to talk about a maple that maybe caught you off guard a little bit, surprised you this year, maybe unsuspecting. You got it. It's in your garden, in your collection, and this year it's like, wait a minute, this thing's doing something crazy. I love it.
This thing's doing something
it's finally doing something.
It's doing something. I had to go with, one of you talk about collecting and people have different type, the ghost garden or whatever. Hey man, I'm a lion's head fanatic.
That's right.
Like the Shishi Shigira and Kurenai Jishi and all this. So I have my lion's head, and so Majishi. So and if you're not familiar with Majishi, so there's Ojishi.
Yeah.
So and I know we carry Ojishi and have made a lot more.
Right.
Majishi seems to be the a little bit harder to get by.
It is.
And I came by one a number of years ago and found it in a greenhouse. And Tim, please. Okay, you could have it. You could have it. Because I was on the hunt. You know about being a collector and on the hunt. I won't lie. I was looking. I was online. Man, I need to add this. I came across it here at MrMaple. Tim, can I have it? Yes, you can have it. Man, this year surprised me, man, is because it's an intense dwarf. It's slow growing,
very slow.
But what surprised me is this year I have it near the house, so that's the full sun in the morning and then afternoon shade.
Right.
And that's why I have it there. Man, it's probably put on these shoots of summer flush on it. And I'm just surprised because I'm like, man, I've had this for a number of years.
Yeah.
It's
never
always
really put that much,
but for whatever this season, it pushed, and it's this intense red on top of those small little leaves on Majishi, and I'm just like, man, this thing has just really, really, really surprised me.
Yeah, I love the Shishigashira and the whole series kind of behind it. You can kind of get into collecting those different forms. Every time I go over to your house, I see your little collection of the lion's head over there. But yeah, Majishi, that's one I hadn't got a chance to grow very often. So yeah, kind of unsuspecting to see that much growth happening on that. And maybe you got it in the sweet spot. It sounds like it's happy there.
It's real happy there.
You found the spot it likes, so that's definitely good on that. For me, I had to go with one that really surprised me this season was Kunara Pygmy. Kunara Pygmy is a really nice dwarf broom, so it's dense, compact growth. But the new growth flushes on mine has really impressed me this year. I didn't suspect how much attention it would grab in my garden. I was just like, another dwarf green Japanese maple. But its new growth right now is all over the entire tree. I'm talking about like there's not a branch on this tree that doesn't have a new couple of leaves. And so the whole thing is just lit up with all this fresh color. It just looks wild out there. Really nice texture. And I love the brooms too. They have those kind of short rounded lobes on it. It just has such a unique texture, dense, compact shape to it. So for me, I had to go with Kunara Pygmy.
And that's one of those I think is underrated for, we're talking about in September on that cusp of getting ready to head into fall. Man, that's another one of those, like, I think has such an underrated fall appreciation.
Yeah. What's interesting too is over the years I've noticed this is sometimes if you have some later season flushes like that, then the fall color is kind of more intense on those newer leaves, than the older leaves. And it's a little more pristine fall color because, those leaves aren't as rugged and wore out like from the summer, from some of that. So it's kind of nice when you get like a lot of new growth flush and then you go into the transition into fall. So it really creates a nice kind of template for that fall color.
So, we got one more category, and this being a collector's corner. So this isn't one we have in our garden yet.
Right.
What maple don't you have that you're looking to add?
All right, guys, I'm going to drop this one here. And to be honest, like, I don't even know a ton about it, right? Because it's that new. But it's on my radar and it's in my mind all the time. I'm talking about Acer Palmatum Ghost Cascade. Woo. Guys, a reticulated weeping style Japanese maple. I mean, next level stuff, guys. When this thing comes out, I think everybody's going to be clamoring for it, especially me and Sean.
Yes.
This is a list, should be on every collector's list. Ghost Cascade is going to be a beautiful, like, reticulated style Japanese maple with a beautiful weeping habit. Think something like Amber Ghost meets Ryusen. Right. I mean, in your mind, you're like, dang, this thing is sweet. I can't wait to add that to my collection, man.
Man, in my mind, I see this picture of Talon in the lab coat,
right,
doing something like the mad scientist, because like how does he keep doing this? How do you keep doing this? How do you keep like spread it out a little? No, man, this dude, like, Talon keeps coming. Like,
yeah, man, he's got gold, man. He's got gold.
I mean, and you see it with your own eyes, and you're like, man, this is for real. Like, it's almost something like, hey, man, I made up this concept. I want it to look like this. I want it to behave like this. Like, man.
Yeah, it's almost like AI. What do you want? Let's see. I'll
create a player. Yeah. I mean, it really is. And how Talon keeps doing it, man, is just amazing.
All right, Sean, what do you got on your list there?
So coming off the whole Lion's Head family, man, one I don't have, and, some people, it's not flashy. It's not, not a new cultivar. But Naniette, man, Naniette, man, to me, it's part of that Lion's Head.
Definitely.
I mean, the characteristics, the way it grows. But what I love about it is, man, if you took and you go to a Lion's Head garden and you see them, man, the way Naniette is, it completely stands out on its own, but it's still part of that family. And being the Lion's Head guy I am, that I love those, man, I have to add one to that garden. It's part of that lineage.
Yeah, I think it's underrated for sure with Naniette. I think a lot of collectors might not have that high on their list of something they need to get, but it's super cool, man. It's got some really nice bright green bark. Keeps that throughout the year, especially even into those winter months. So you have a little bit of bark interest with it, which is kind of different from your typical Lion's Head family there. And then what really makes it stand apart is that bright yellow fall color.
Man, you ain't lying.
Could you imagine pairing that up with a shishi, just a regular old shishi?
Because you're getting them oranges from that.
Yeah, and then
that yellow.
Naniette on the other side. Absolutely amazing. I mean, we talked about some killer cultivars today. Man. Guys, we love doing this. It's so much fun because it's what we're passionate about. I mean, if we weren't talking to you guys here on the podcast, this is what me and Sean would be talking about here at work. You know, what's going on, how's things going in our gardens. We talk about it all the time. And it's a lot of fun to share with you guys.
And it's also fun to talk about trees that we actually have our hands in the dirt on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we could sit here. I mean, we were joking about it this weekend with our wives, like, you know, because Francis goes, oh, I should do a top 5. And she names, okay, start with your number 5. And we're like, well, okay, that's zone, you know, joking. Yeah. Like, we could sit here and, you know, and there are those appropriate videos where we talk about them and all that type of stuff. But these collector corners are fun because these are ones that we have like I say, our hands are dirty from working with these in our own gardens. And it's always fun to talk about what's going on, you know, that we see every day, not just what zone it is and you know, all that type of stuff. So it's always fun to be able to talk about some great cultivars, but not on, you know, what's going on with us.
Yeah. So you guys, any of these cultivars you talked about today, go over to MrMaple.com, check them out. We've got tons of information over there. We've got links to how-to videos for planting tips, gardening tips, talking about fall, summer, spring. I mean, we cover about every topic you can think of at the Mr. Maple Show. And MrMaple.com has kind of all that information linked up for you guys as well to our YouTube channel, all of that. So any of these cultivars you're wanting to dive into and learn a little bit more about, head on over to MrMaple.com and give us a shot. And
I got to give a special plug to, if you're a new gardener and you're just getting into Japanese maples, you and Matt did a fantastic podcast on 20 things to know before buying a Japanese maple. And it's nothing to scare you like, oh, it's 20 things that, you know, but it's just 20 different things if you're a new gardener, and just things to keep in mind so you can be a successful. And I just had to plug that. It's a great podcast that you and Matt did.
Yeah, thanks, man.
A lot of great knowledge. And anyone who is even an experienced gardener to someone who's new, a lot of great information in there. So check it out. If you're a new gardener, or even if you're, you know, an experienced gardener, you might learn something.
Absolutely.
But I had to give a special plug on that. Hey, y'all, we do appreciate it. We wouldn't do this or be able to do this if it wasn't for y'all. So remember, hit up MrMaple.com. And, you know, hey, y'all take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.